How has it come to this, said Rory before we started filming this video. Peter Crouch linked with Chelsea. We're going to dive into the deal that could be on the table to take Peter Crouch from Stoke City to Chelsea.
Wow.
But before we get into that, and other options as well. So if you're a Chelsea fan, stick around to the end of the video because there are other options that Chelsea could go with to, let's remember Chelsea's still in the Champions League, still in the FA Cup, the treble's on.
Still in the league.
Tenuously. Still in the league, bloody hell, yeah. So it's not all bad, but on social media people were going crazy about this, the fact that Peter Crouch could go to Chelsea. I'm a Crouchy fan, so I've there's ways that we can talk about the merits of Peter Crouch. But before we talk about that, Rory is here with me from CFC Fan TV. What are the problems that have led to this? Why have the champions of England had to go to these lengths?
It was a shocking transfer window in the summer. That's where this all went wrong. People were so aware of it. It happened to us. This is exactly what happened 2015. We won the league. We had a very mediocre transfer window in the summer, and it all went wrong under Mourinho. Antonio Conte has done a better job than Mourinho managed then. He steered it
massively.
well. Like you mentioned, we're still in every trophy that we entered. We're not competing for the league anymore, obviously, but nobody else is. But the transfer window was abysmal again. And, it wasn't Mourinho's fault, and it isn't Antonio Conte's fault. But we went into this season with two strikers. At the start of the season, we had two strikers. Alvaro Morata, brand new to the league, nobody knows. Michi Batshuyai, who the fans at the time were quite supportive of. He scored the goal that won us the league last year. But Antonio Conte has never seemed to be particularly looked at him in a particularly favouring sense.
Let's be honest. The pressure was on Morata.
The pressure was on
to carry it,
Morata
and certainly after the way he started.
Diego Costa's void.
Exactly, and he hasn't done it.
No, he hasn't done it.
Well, I knew that, but I just thought I'd let you answer.
Yeah, just trolling me. No, he hasn't done it, James.
So I guess you're in a weird situation. This is why Chelsea have gone to these lengths. The other thing is, when you talk about that bad transfer window in August, Llorente was a big one that you wanted, quite literally. He wanted a target man. Llorente had done really well under Conte at Juventus. I think scored 18 goals for them in the season that he was there. And Conte generally likes to have that big, bullish centre forward. Yeah, certainly as an option.
Isn't it? It's a nice option to have. I think a lot of the time when you're playing in the Premier League and it's so physical and you've got so many sides that are going to really give you a stern test, it's very, very important, and it's a huge luxury for the team, particularly the back line and the keeper. If they can go long, if you can knock the ball long to Diego Costa, if he can hold it up, tussle, run 20 yards with the ball and win a free kick, that's a dream for a defence. That is exactly, it's so valuable. And
even the centre midfielders, it takes less pressure on them to kind of get the ball up the pitch as well.
It gives a bit of a breather. It gives, absolutely.
Even Hazard,
Yeah, absolutely. And also then, what you build from that, then everybody reshapes, you move forward. Who knows where you end up from that free kick. The trouble is, Alvaro Morata isn't that sort of player. He's a very delicate footballer. He's a beautiful footballer, but he's a very delicate footballer. And that side of his game is non-existent. Put it frankly.
Okay.
We need that option. So we're now looking for somebody who can play that role.
Yep.
Hold it up. We've got a huge clash against Barcelona coming up, and I imagine that when we're in the new camp, a lot of the time the ball's going to come back aimed at our defence. We currently don't have a player who can hold the ball up and just buy us a bit of time. A Drogba presence, a Costa presence. There is no such thing as a Morata presence.
So all that said, Andy Carroll, you can understand the option of that. I'm not sure how good his hold-up play is, to be honest, in comparison to the man we're going to talk about now, Peter Crouch. Over 100 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Had a great career, is turning 37 this month, but he's never had any pace. And the two things that you say about him are, one, he is ginormous, 6'7", so he will win headers, can chest balls down that others have to flick on or whatever, and he's got good feet.
Peter Crouch is a really good player. We know, there's no doubt that I've liked Crouch. I've followed England enough through the mid noughties, whatever they called it, to know that Peter Crouch is a really useful player at the highest level. But this is ridiculous. How's this a video? What are we talking about?
But are football fans being shallow here?
No, we're being.
He's never had pace. He's always scored goals.
On point.
Every club he's been to, he's done well. Yet there's this superficial.
Is that true?
Yeah. So he's always scored goals at every club he's been to. He's always been effective at every club he's been to.
At Tottenham and Liverpool, his two big clubs, his two big moves, neither were covered in glory, were they?
Sorry, which two? Liverpool and
Tottenham.
I think, look, every club that let me know in the comments, every club that he's been to, that set of fans love him as a player.
Because I love him. I love him, and he played for Tottenham. It's a weird one. Everyone loves him. He does the robot, and he married Abby Clancy.
But you can't go that far in your career based on goodwill. Do you know what I mean? You have to be an effective player. And if you need a plan B, and this is what Frank Lampard has come out and said. He said, look, he's not the future of Chelsea Football Club.
No.
He's a short-term option. Yeah, absolutely, because he's close to death. In terms of, Lampard has said, this is a plan B for you. This is another option for you. This is another player who can play in the Champions League for you against Barcelona.
That's all true. But what this isn't a reflection on Peter Crouch's ability or Peter Crouch's presence or anything that you're saying. This is a reflection on Chelsea's lack of options. So of course it's another option because there isn't another option. But by that logic, if you signed up to Chelsea, you'd be another option. So simply calling it another option, yeah, it's another option because it's an option, but it's not another good option or a viable option or a workable option. Okay. You're talking about Peter Crouch playing alongside Eden Hazard. What are we doing?
Is he not a good foil that's going to bring in these great players around him into play?
No.
Okay.
No.
Would Chelsea fans they can be annoyed at the thought that you should be going for Aubameyang or Sanchez, these kind of players.
Sanchez
I understand that. Instead, you're going for Peter Crouch. Should Chelsea fans actually be angry at the fact that someone like Tammy Abraham is not still at club? 6'4" striker. If you're looking for this big target man, which it seems like he's desperate to get. Why is he not at the club?
Because Tammy Abraham is hopefully the future of Chelsea Football Club. It needs to be preserved and protected. We can't throw him in the deep end. At the moment, it's not good. It wouldn't be fair to Tammy Abraham to throw him into this and demand. There's no guarantee that if Alexis Sanchez signed for Chelsea, he could turn it around, and he's one of the most gifted football players playing football at the moment. Sergio Aguero doesn't definitely get this side working because there are a lot of problems. It would be unfair and unjust and potentially detrimental to the future of Tammy Abraham. Remember, Tammy was the jewel in the crown of that brilliant Chelsea youth team.
So give him a go.
Nurture him. Allow him to have a year of playing in the Premier League. Okay. But Tammy Abraham is the answer. The question just doesn't come for another year.
It's the timing for it. Right. Well, let us know your thoughts on that, Chelsea fans. One thing before I talk about another option that Chelsea have got, and I think this is the dream one for you.
You better cheer me up with the
I can cheer you up with that one. Sort of. Although I've got my concerns for it, although I couldn't care less because it's Chelsea. The fact that you're looking at short-term options, is that just a consequence of the bad transfer window before and January, or is it the state of play that Conte is quite possibly on his way out in the summer and the club and him, the club have said to him, don't make any big signings because we're going to have to bring in someone else in, they're going to want their own players. Do you think
No, I don't.
There is something going on under behind the scenes?
Yes, absolutely. But this isn't a product of that. There's definitely huge issues at Chelsea. But remember that the setup at Chelsea isn't. Sounds ridiculous. The manager doesn't sign the players. I mean, whether Conte has their full back in or whether he's out on his ear, if we draw with Brighton, either way, Conte doesn't sign the players. That's not the setup. Okay. Ridiculously.
Okay. I'm not sure.
He's loving this.
I'm not sure. What is even more depressing, actually, with the Crouch thing is...
You told me you were going to cheer me up.
Sorry, it's just to finish on the Crouch thing is... What's incredible is he signed a one-year contract extension in... Or maybe this will cheer you up, actually. It won't happen, basically, is what I'm going to say now. It's because there's too much in play for Stoke for them to let him go. He signed a one-year contract with a contract extension in November because he had done exactly what I think he would do at Chelsea if he went there. He came off the bench and made an impact. He's actually been starting games for Stoke recently as well. And in Paul Lambert, you've got a manager who likes a big target man as well. With
they need it. They are.
Oh, that's it. They won't let him
down. Yeah. They need for them to maintain their Premier League status. He could be a huge part of it.
And they won't let him go unless they've got a replacement. So that's why I think that that's not because Chelsea don't want him. No. I don't think Stoke will let that fantastic player that is Peter Crouch, Queen's Park Rangers legend and fan. Let's make that clear. His dad is a Chelsea fan. He's a QPR fan. That's why it's not going to happen. But to cheer you up, Rory.
Right. Thank you.
The other striker that you're linked with is Edin Dzeko, who left the Premier League in 2015, went to Roma, has done brilliantly there. Scored 50 goals for Man City whilst he was there in about, how many was it? 130 games, 50 goals. And at Roma last year, 38 goals in 56 games. Had a great game against you guys earlier in the season.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
50 million is the amount for him and Emerson Palmieri, who's the left back at Roma. Batshuyai would have to go in the other direction, which means you kind of lose any kind of...
What, 50 million plus Batshuyai?
On loan.
Okay, right, sorry.
Would you take that deal? And Edin Dzeko, who is 32 in March, you're still happy to spend essentially 30 million on?
Massively. He was so good against us. He was actually unplayable, both legs. He was so good. He scored a wonderful goal. I rated him at City. He's proven in the Premier League. And I know it didn't quite work out for him at City, but if you're not getting in a team because Sergio Aguero is getting in the team, there's no shame in that. Sergio Aguero is probably the best on his day.
Yeah, well, he's got the records.
One of the best strikers in the league, for sure. So I don't think that we can look at the City thing, why he left City, as being a factor. He would hold it up brilliantly. He would play in the league, obviously, because he's banned from the Champions League. So what would happen, I guess, is that we would put full faith in Morata. It would free Morata. I would take the goal burden off Morata, which could be helpful. And yeah, I rate Edin Dzeko really highly.
But long term, again, Chelsea fans, some Chelsea fans might think that, again, this isn't the guy. This isn't the superstar who's going to take you back to where you want to be. No,
but the names that you're mentioning, this is the superstar. So the potential signings that we're currently linked with,
the best of what's available.
Edin Dzeko is incomparable to Peter Crouch. It's incomparable. Like, you know, there's no debate to be had. And if we're going to do this video where you talk about Peter Crouch and then at the end of it offer this cherry of Edin Dzeko suddenly becomes Lionel Messi because you're comparing him to Peter Crouch.
Okay, very enjoyable video to make.
Was it, James?
It was.
Was it?
So Crouchy, can he do a job? Guy's never had pace. He's always scored goals. I will leave you with that fact. Can he do a job for Chelsea? Who should they be linked with as striking options? Has Batshuyai got a future at Chelsea as well? Has he been hard done by? Let us know in the comments below. Check out CFC Fan TV for all your Chelsea needs. Subscribe to Ball Street. We'll see you soon.